The following podcast is scheduled for one fall with no time limit.
Super hot fire!
The greatest spectacle in podcast entertainment, Mr. Nestlemania.
That was literally verbal diarrhea. I'm setting the bar awfully low. Titus O'Neil keeps running directly into that bar. Get him off my TV, get him off my TV. You make me very angry.
The man who has a better IQ than you, the awe-inspiring JC.
You should go work for WWE because you'd be so up far up Vince's butt.
No.
Oh, you are such a sucker.
You
You defend everything, all the bad moves they make.
This is the Jobber Knocker Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Jobber Knocker Podcast. As always, I'm Nestlemania alongside for the ride is JC, and we have entered an interesting week of wrestling.
We're getting closer to Elimination Chamber. This week was not very good.
Not good.
Yeah, much like my sentence structure there.
That's okay.
But you know what? Before we get into that, a lot of fun things happening over at jobberknocker.com.
Very true.
So make sure you check out our website. We have you covered across the board. WWE, NXT, NXT UK. We got it because that's what we do. So be on the lookout there. Check it out. Also, pro wrestling tees. Buy the merch, man. The shirts are super hot fire. Monday Night Rerun and the official Jobber Knocker. You're wearing the official Jobber Knocker. I am wearing Monday Night Rerun because it matches my red sweatshirt.
Nice.
Yeah, so do that. And then, of course, rate us 5 stars on iTunes or wherever the hell you listen.
Stitcher, Podbean, all of them. Do it now, please, because quite frankly, we're everywhere that you want to listen to a podcast.
But before we get into a lot of the, this week, I really want to start on like a nice, relaxing moment of bliss.
Oh, wow.
Because I feel like this was my favorite segment of the week.
Really?
It was because I watched SmackDown and I wasn't really impressed. So this was the best part of Raw to me. So this is where we're going to start this week with a moment of bliss featuring with EC3. Not EC1 or 2, EC3. Yeah. See, for me, this segment had a little bit of everything because we finally get our first real look at EC3 besides just walking by him. Obviously, that's Alexa Bliss, which is great. But out comes annoying Nia Jax to just annoy and piss off the crowd.
You should be interviewing me.
Yes. And honestly, I thought she did fine. I mean, I'm not the biggest Nia person in the world, but I thought she did a good job. She's annoying. She cut a decent promo. And then out comes the person she's feuding with, Dean Ambrose, which, you know what? I liked it. And then Ambrose cut his best promo in 2 years.
Yeah.
That was a really entertaining promo. He was like, Nia, he's like, you have a crush on me, so stay away. I thought that was great. EC3, we finally think he's going to talk. Dean slaps the mic away from him, calls him a Creed fan, a mute Chip and Dale dancer. Dean Ambrose was spitting super hot fire, man.
Yeah.
And then he challenged him to a match. We got it. And EC3 picks up the big win, which I thought was exciting. This is a big spot for EC3. It appears this is how they're going to use Ambrose up until that contract expires, which, you know what? I'm okay with.
Really?
Because I thought this was the most entertaining Dean Ambrose has been in years.
So losing effort. You're excited about it. Okay.
Because it's actually the first time I was interested in things he was saying and doing. And he put over someone. That's the thing. It's these new people, it's like Lacey Evans had the show in the Royal Rumble. Haven't seen her since.
Yep.
We only really see Heavy Machinery doing a little worm shit and everything.
Hey, Otis is a big deal, baby.
Jess Otis now. They changed his name.
Yes.
But EC3 finally getting featured, and I liked this. I thought this segment, top to bottom, was the best segment of the week.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I enjoy Dean Ambrose match. I think here's the thing that's going to be everything that goes through my mind when I watch him from now on. He's going to get so good by the time he's out of there that you're going to not want him to leave. That's the problem. You've wanted him to do something different. He's doing something that's my fear is we're going to get to WrestleMania and he's going to be in a featured match where he loses. And then it's just okay, off into the sunset I go. And then I go make a big name somewhere else. I'll go to CZW with, hang out with Sami Callihan and just beat the hell out of everybody.
He's going to AEW.
Maybe.
But here's the thing. I'm once again just going to bounce it off the wall because I mentioned that it kind of felt a little worky to me. If they're going to continue to feature him this much and allow him to just organically get over again, it feels like to me that they're doing this on purpose and they're running an angle. And he's just going to it's going to be oh, my contract's up, goodbye. And then he's going to make a surprise return at some point. So I'm still not fully convinced he's actually leaving. He might be. It might not be, but I think we're going to continue to see over the next few months if he's still prominently featured and organically getting over. It's a little fishy to me.
Sure. Smells. Fish, terrible. They smell.
But you know what?
Delicious, but
I'm enjoying the ride, man. That's
yeah,
what it's all about.
That's what we need to subscribe on this podcast is here. It's just more of the subscription of just enjoy the ride. Don't try to emulate what you think is going to happen. Don't try to be a Meltzer. Don't try to be what I like to call a Goliath Freezer instead of a David Meltzer. Just be yourself.
And the reason why this segment, again, is my number one segment is because this is what, when they came out at the end of the year and promised a new WWE and fresh things, this was by far the freshest thing we have seen. We had people interacting who would never interact. We finally get one of those new superstars featured in kind of like a feudish type thing. Like, this was fresh, top to bottom, across the board. It was different. It had your intergender mixings again. This segment had a little bit of everything.
Something else that actually I enjoyed very much. I enjoyed the first segment with Becky and Steph. I didn't expect to. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a good segment. Mm-hmm. I love that she got punched in the face and beaten up and everything. Like, that's great. Everybody's like, oh, no, here comes Austin McMahon, too. I didn't necessarily see that when I watched it, especially when she kicked her knee at the end. I thought that was a nice little touch. The fact that it's literally just go to the doctor, you'll get cleared, but you're suspended. And then on SmackDown, having Triple H add to that where it was, well, you're just afraid. You're afraid that they'll tell you yes. Because I was sitting there for a second, I'm like, what is this faulty logic for a moment? And then when he brought it back around, I'm like, okay.
Oh, he brought it back around. That's the thing with the Triple H promo. It was really good, but he said
goes
the same
way
thing
out
10
there.
times.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, like what you just said could have been a minute instead of 5.
Absolutely.
But it was still good.
But it's just every once in a while.
Becky's getting the rub, man, from everyone.
Oh, yeah. But
everyone's getting their hands on Becky.
Here's the question. Is Becky getting the rub from everyone, or is Becky giving the rub to everyone?
Yes, to both.
To both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, being featured with literally Stephanie McMahon on Raw, Becky or Triple H on SmackDown. First of all, she's on both shows.
Yep.
Second of all, she's kicking off both shows. She's with like the two people. She's gonna have interactions with Vince.
Yep.
Like it's happening. The rocket ship is on Becky.
Yep. Strap it on, baby.
They might strap someone else on there with her, but Becky's still on the ship, and she's still gonna be the featured part of the ship. But again, then we even get backstage, and like, I don't know what Rousey said, but I loved it. Like, just spitting fire right at Becky, just screaming at her. I heard her saying like some big words mixed in there, but I didn't care because I was just like, Ronda and Becky. Give me all the Ronda and Becky. Don't give me Ronda with anyone else, just Becky, because when you get to other stuff, it's like, no, but Ronda and Becky, yes.
You know what? I don't know if you've ever seen this. You may have seen this because you're a little bit younger than me. But the Micro Machine guys, like the guy that would talk so fast, you'd have no idea what he's talking about. He's like Micro Machine, blah 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 blah. When she talks faster than him, and I'm just like, what did she just say? And then of course she stopped, took a breath, and said what I think is a T-shirt worthy comment.
Oh, it's great.
Ice and Advil, bitch. I was like that right there. I went, woo wee. That was great. That was fan freaking tastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the good portion. But having her speak at a fucking light speed is way too hard for me to keep up. I'm just like, oh my God. You know what's great? When you enunciate, when you talk slowly, then somebody's going to understand you. But if she talks too quickly, I'm like, is she saying nice things? Is she saying good things? I can't tell.
See, that's why this one didn't bother me as much as the other ones, because she was just fiery. It was the passion. Like, she could have literally been saying, bah, 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 and I wouldn't have cared because it's just like, she was like living it. Like, you could feel her anger. Like, it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be nice if I could understand her at some point, and she didn't. 'Cause I literally, during that promo, I could hear her saying those big words that I'm like, those are unnecessary, but I didn't care because I was like, yeah, it's fire, fire, fire. Give me the fire. Fire's like the word of the week. It was
Fire!
great.
And the disco. Fire at the Taco Bell.
Should we keep talking about fire?
Sure, let's go for
like
it.
Fire and desire. Hashtag always in the shine.
Fell for it.
They get a backstage promo. Mandy ends it greatly. She hasn't pinned me yet.
Mandy.
And then, it was just great hearing the music backstage and the walk, and then she just started her walk over. I was like, oh my God, this is great. Goes out. You have a match. That was fine with the triple threat.
It was a thing.
I like the Iconics, like rubbing the titles and everything. That was a nice touch. But then Mandy, that's a Death Valley driver, right? Am I getting that right?
Yes.
Ish? Yes. That's her true finisher, which we never see her do.
Thank God, right?
And she hit
finish.
it, and she won because you know what? Mandy's the best.
Let's give it up for Mandy. She learned a new move, everybody.
She's done that move before.
She learned a new move.
Adam,
she learned a new move.
She did that move like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and it took 2 years to do it.
Well, no, because
Congratulations,
Naomi's probably
everybody.
the only one who knows how to correctly take it. Because Mandy's just too good.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
And you know what? They're
erroneous.
So not only are Mandy and Sonya going to win the women's tag team titles, hashtag go to jobberknocker.com, check out my article to see the preview of that match because I'm excited for it. You should be too. Mandy and Sonya are going to win the tag team titles, and then Mandy's going to go to WrestleMania, not only defend those titles, but also face Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship, because Asuka can't even get on TV until she's with Mandy. Oh, this is great.
You're hyped up on the old caffeine coffee there, buddy boy. Take it down a notch, will you?
Fire and Desire. What
Fire
a name. They've kind of said that before, but this was the first time like on TV it was used.
This is
Fire and Desire.
on the
Super hot fire and desire.
when we get to the other portion of the heat portion of the show, then we'll get into the other names of these terrible fucking teams. But that's fine.
This is like the best team.
All right, fine. Let's move on to the happiness category still. Let's go. Let's move. Trying to think of what else I enjoyed, to be honest. You know what? Look, I'm going to say this because I have to, because if I didn't call upon this, then it would be weird. I actually enjoyed Finn Balor wrestling a cruiserweight. I'm just throwing it out there. It was a very interesting match. Clearly, it helps my narrative, but as being a troll. But I got to say, having Bobby, first off, we'll talk about.
Did you enjoy Randy Orton wrestling a cruiserweight too?
I did.
Okay.
I thought that was a good match. Listen, and it'll float back and forth, I'm sure. But the finish of Mustafa Ali and Orton was phenomenal. I love that entire
like that
finish.
whole match.
I thought it was nice that he slowed him down.
Best match of the week?
Probably, I'd say.
I think it was.
I think it was.
Yes.
Because there weren't a lot of real, in my opinion, real matches that kept my attention.
Nope.
So look, having the Ali factor in there with Orton, Ali, here's the thing. Ali definitely has that underdog mentality. The thing is with Finn Balor, I don't see him as an underdog all the time. I see him as
because he's pushed as a main event level talent.
Sure.
And in this situation, he wasn't the underdog.
Right, exactly.
Obviously.
So when watching him face a cruiserweight, yes, I joke about him being on 205 Live, and he should be, in my opinion. But that's okay. A 190-pound guy going to 205 Live would make a lot of sense, but that's just me. But watching that match, with the exception of Bobby Lashley, who has a manager getting on the microphone, I enjoyed that entire segment. So it is what it is.
We can talk about that later.
Sure. But I'm just saying, watching them actually wrestle each other and having Leo, he gave more than he should have to Leo, Finn Balor. He gave him a lot more offense. He gave him a lot of
Leo's
spots.
a legit competitor on 205 Live. That's what it's hard with the crossover, because with Lashley, he looks like an ant.
Sure.
But, I mean, he's a legit competitor.
Sure, and having somebody around the same, he wasn't the same size, because let's face it, there's more I think he grows a new ab every
and
week.
Leo Rush is like the tiniest wrestler.
But he's got abs though. Like the guy probably has 0% body fat, maybe negative body percent. I'm sorry, body fat.
The amount of body fat in the ring was negative infinity.
Absolutely,
in that match.
absolutely. Somebody should eat a carb, one of the two, maybe both. Anyway, I enjoyed that injection of cruiserweight perfection, if you will.
That was bad.
That was a throwback.
Yeah, we're
gonna
move on to say number one contenders
for the
yet again.
Time.
This time
It's personal.
They have to win. The Revival just racking up wins now, which is it's happening. Heavy Machinery, a good showing.
Yes.
In the match.
Otis.
Yeah, just Otis.
Just Otis.
So it's weird. This is my problem with these name changes, like Tucker Knight, whatever. Tucker, I don't care. It's irrelevant. But they call Otis Dozovich? His nickname is like Dozer, like a bulldozer.
Yeah.
But if you take out the Dozovich and he's just Otis, then like is his nickname no longer Dozer? Like,
well, you don't have Luke and Butch something, the Bushwhackers. You just have here's Luke, here's Butch, the Bushwhackers. So I think in their mind they're going here's Otis, here's Tucker, the Heavy Machinery or Heavy Machinery.
Well, we see them do that a lot with a lot of them, but it's just like
they do pick the wrong name because let's face it, we all agreed CN would have been a better name.
Oh, don't bring that up now. You're
but I'm just saying,
sour me.
But I mean, they usually pick the wrong name, but that's their narrative, and they're going to know what they're due before we do, so it's okay. We'll get over it. You know what's funny? We can bitch about it all we want, but it will be regimented to say it, so it's really
also,
they win.
I want to say I feel really bad for the Ascension because Lucha House Party and B Team are in this match or whatever. Heavy Machinery gets to be in every number one contenders match, and the Ascension just doesn't exist.
Here's something very quickly. These are the adventures of watching with your wife, watching wrestling.
Oh, boy.
Every time there's a match on, she doesn't care. Yet some fucking reason, she loves B-Team. Why?
B-Team,
she
B-Team.
Says that.
That's
it. She'll just say it. She'll go, B-Team, go. And I'm like, what? Why? Why? I'm embarrassed. Why?
Former tag team champions.
Ridiculous. She's like, it's the only thing that I can remember because in passing it's catchy and it's buried.
People in the crowd were chanting it when Axel was doing it during the match.
It's buried. It's burrowed into her like cerebral cortex. Or if that makes any sense, it is literally in her brain. Every time she sees it, she goes, "Oh, I didn't even notice." She goes, "I know Bo Dallas because he's Bray Wyatt, Bray Wyatt, Bro Riot."
Who?
Exactly.
I haven't seen that guy in like 2 years.
Exactly. But then she's like, "Curtis, I didn't recognize him without his B-Team shirt." I was like, "Oh my god." This is the world I live in. Anyway, it's an interesting experience.
Former Intercontinental Champion Curtis Axel.
That's right.
Paul Heyman guy.
What a McGillicuddy that was. All right, anyway, I think that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, the only other shine I have is that just because I love saying this name because I came up with it and I can't wait till they start using it because they continue to steal all my names. Nakarusev wins!
Yes.
And we can move on.
Speaking of things that I have to say, since this is the basic end of the shine, I have to say, next week they have McMiz TV. I stood up and I was like, God damn it, they listen to this fucking podcast. Because Josh said it like 3 fucking weeks ago. And I was just like,
it's
oh my God.
It's just so perfect. I'm so glad
it's
that they're
so funny.
embracing the McMiz.
It's so funny. Like
It's a McMiz.
It's a McMiz TV against the Usos. It was just, I loved it. By the way, Tom Phillips is fucking just atrocious. He's like, might as well be in a drone.
What did he
oh
said?
My God.
He said something. Oh, when after Mandy hit his finisher, like he was just like, and she pins Naomi, and Graves is like, actually, she's pinning her now. She hasn't done it yet. I just thought it was hilarious. It's like even Phillips is distracted by the gloss. But yeah, only other thing, Usos. Whoa, well, he just threw his phone. But the Usos cut a great promo as they always do. But yeah, we can move on to
the heat. Yeah, look.
Where do you want to start? Because I have some heat this week.
We can go before door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. Pick one. Because I'm just going to tell you what it's going to be.
Door number 2.
Door number 2. Well, let's see what you could have picked. You could have picked them not caring about the rules.
We're going to talk about that, but
Okay.
I didn't pick that. What did I pick?
Let's think about door number 3. There could be a song about having a good time with a baby tonight.
Well, what's door number 2 then?
What did you pick?
I don't know.
What did you pick? Well,
Do you not have a third one? Because I do.
why don't you tell me what you had behind door number 3 then?
I mean, we kind of already talked about it, but they let Bobby talk. What were you thinking? Like, it literally, he stumbled on literally his second word in his first sentence.
I know. Well,
And
he's
you know,
gun
it's
shy.
just Bobby has been so good just posing and letting Leo talk. And when they came out, I was like, oh no, Bobby has a mic. Why does Bobby have a mic? Like Leo has a mic, but why does Bobby have a mic? And then as he was slowly raising it to his mouth, I was like, no. And then it was over.
It was verbal diarrhea, for sure. Absolutely, 100%.
And they not only let him talk, they let him talk his entire walk to the ring. And granted, after he like fell over his second word,
Then another
he
word.
put together kind of coherent sentences, but like, why? He could have literally just been like, Leo could have been like, ha, 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 you're not good enough to face my man, the Almighty. And as you notice, I'm not in my suit, so you're gonna fight me. And it would have been better than Bobby being like,
You're going to make me vomit.
vomit.
Vomit, as you will. Sounds Yiddish.
But yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it happened. It was very upsetting because, quite frankly, every time Bobby had a microphone in his hand, as you said, he kind of threw up on himself. And it's interesting to me that they thought that was a good idea. It really does.
I mean,
they've done so well for like, I think 3 to 5 months where it's been pretty damn
well,
good.
let's put it this way. So I'm guessing the person who had that idea also had the idea to send out the fucking bowling ball road dog with that fucking jobber Jeff Jarrett to have a fucking match with Elias and sing a song where Road Dogg doesn't even remember the fucking words. This segment was the worst segment on Raw
Probably the whole week.
in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the last time I watched something and was like, wow. Like, it was like that scene with the chocolate bar in Dumb and Dumberer, like in the bathroom. It was disgusting.
I didn't see it, so I don't need to be
Bad
told.
movie, bad, disgusting scene.
Okay.
Just think about what you could do with a melting chocolate bar in a bathroom and what it would look like.
Ew.
That's what this looked like. This entire shitty segment.
See what you did there.
Yes. Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on...
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Oh.
Set the clock. Well, look. We all know I'm not a big fan of Jeff Jarrett. We all know that I think he's, quite frankly, never drawn a dime, as Eric Bischoff would say, which is still one of my greatest. Like, as a fan, listening to somebody say something so relevant is great. That
Fact, not opinion.
He just, I mean, I reiterate it again, saying the man broke 1,000 guitars and never drew a dime. I mean, quite frankly, it is the God fucking truth. I mean, I watched him. First off, he came out with the Jeff Jarrett music of 1990-something, but dressed as Jeff Jarrett 2000s with Zack Ryder's glasses, and then he came out with a guitar, which wasn't pre-broken, by the way, which sucks for Elias, because that fucking hurts no matter what you do. And then, of course, we have which I think is really the drizzling shits of the whole thing. Here comes fucking Road Dogg in a cheap pop, in a 3 sizes too small NBA jersey of the Portland Trailblazers with a hat. Oh, you damn Skippy. Listen, when he starts doing the shiznit stuff, I feel old and I'm younger than he is. It is not an act I want to see. Why did he introduce D-Generation X into it? I know it's just spiel, but it has nothing to do with Jeff Jarrett. And then here's the biggest crap on the Sunday of all time. Why is a 55-year-old man having a competitive match with Elias, who is in his motherfucking prime? You tell me.
Because that's what they think about Elias.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sitting there going, you're having Kurt Angle get tapped out and beaten up by these 2 behemoths in a storyline, and then you have Jeff Jarrett strutting, cutting, and not singing very well against a guy who should have a rocket strap all the way up to the fucking moon. Instead, he's having a difficult time with 2 geriatric jobbers and not have enough common sense to go, fuck this shit, I'm getting the hell out of here. That's what I want. I want that.
You know what I want? I want to hear you say it, because you haven't said it in a while.
Jeff Jarrett? Road Dogg? Get him off my TV! Get him off my TV! Get him off my TV!
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I want to fucking boot him. I want to hit him. I want to throw him right out of the fucking arena.
This has to be done now, right? Like, we never...
No. It's going to happen again, probably. I bet you he has a pay-per-view match at Elimination Chamber.
Stop it.
That's the anti-hope.
Stop it. If he has... Because there are going to be some matches that deserve to be on the pay-per-view. Revival, Road and Gable. Also, by the way, note on them, they had apparently a 40-minute match at a house show, and like it had one of the biggest standing ovations ever. Bailey was taking videos of it. Apparently, it was like one of the most amazing matches people there like ever saw.
I'm sure, but guess what?
Put it on the fucking pay-per-view,
exactly.
damn it! I don't know what. Honestly, I want them to put it on the pre-show because that's how they'll get the proper amount of time. Because if they're on the main card, they're gonna be sandwiched between 2 title matches and be like a fucking 10-minute match. But if you put them on the pre-show, they could have a 20-minute classic.
Sure.
There's a bonus hope for you. And fuck Jeff Jarrett. Let's move on to
My world.
Let's move on to the rules that weren't enforced in that main event on Raw, where literally Braun Strowman got disqualified for doing something that literally has happened in every tag match in the history of fucking tag matches. Are you kidding me, WWE? Fuck off. Like seriously?
That was the most head-scratching decision I've seen in a long time. They've bent the rules in a lot of different ways, but that just seemed like, they'll buy it. That's fine. It's like, no one's ever in their life got DQ'd for getting involved in the match that they're in.
Have them just hit someone with a fucking chair or something. Like,
yeah.
It's literally so simple to get someone disqualified without, like,
Why the heels wouldn't have gotten disqualified because they were on they're on their reel back, getting offense, beaten into them. Why wouldn't you just have them try to level the playing field with Braun Strowman? But it's just like, yay. You know what it felt like? A complete popcorn fart, because it felt like when Lex Luger won at SummerSlam with the balloons happening, yet didn't beat Yokozuna and become the WWF champion. That's what it felt like. It was like technicality. That's what it felt like to me. It was just like, yeah, Kurt Angle really showed them in that DQ performance. Great fucking job.
Kurt Angle lost, by the way. Since Braun got DQ'd, that
exactly.
Baron Corbin and Drew
But that's
McIntyre.
the thing. It doesn't matter. You stand tall, you forget. They're thinking outside the box. They're going, yep, people aren't going to care about wins and losses because we don't care about wins and losses. So what the hell does that matter for, right?
Yeah.
That's the logic there. Let's just throw that one right out the fucking window, too. But here's the kicker. Here's the motherfucking kicker, right? They fucking throw out Bobby Lashley. It's like, wait a minute. In stuff that he normally does, that's what they do?
Yep.
I get that they had to have him come out and then have him DQ'd or thrown out in the middle of the matchup. I get that that's where they had to go, but why couldn't you just do this? Why couldn't you go, Bobby Lashley comes out with Lio Rush, and they're like, my man does not have to defend his Intercontinental Championship against you there, little Finn boy. I'm going to do my dirty work for my man. And then, of course, Bobby just, instead of eating a microphone, sits there and goes like this with his arms crossed, sits at the top of the ramp and goes, meh, I think you got this one. I'm going to go back and I'm going to be awesome. And just leaves. That's how you get him out of there to have a competitive match that doesn't involve Bobby Lashley. Instead of having Bobby Lashley thrown out in the middle of something I don't even think he was worth throwing out of. right? So it's just like
It's bad, man.
It's just like, as we've talked about on this program, you build this universe with rules. Stay inside those rules, and we will believe you. We're already asking you.
We're playing a fake game, and we know that. But you set rules so we can, like, know what's going on within the fake game. Yeah. When you start fucking changing rules, no one wants to play with you when you change the rules in a fucking game because the game isn't fun anymore because no one knows what's going on. God.
It's like an equivalent of playing a pickup basketball game and somebody finally calling a foul. It's like unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary. It's like, dude.
Delete.
Let's not do this anymore.
Delete.
So it's very upsetting to me. It's very upsetting, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it was worse the second time around when it had the whole DQ thing at the end.
That was horrible.
But God fucking damn it, get your shit together. Like, this is a mistake that people who don't normally have their shit together make. Not a multi-billion-dollar company. They shouldn't be making this mistake, especially since you've been around since the fucking beginning. You know the rule. Why are we doing this now?
Yeah.
It's like, we haven't done that before. It's like, okay, now that we've done that, we've gone into uncharted territory. We've done this. We're doing the first time this has ever happened. You know why it's never happened? Because it's not a good fucking idea. That's why. Sorry.
Just like Jeff Jarrett not wrestling for 19 years, you know? Oh, it's never happened before, like you just said, because it's a bad fucking idea.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we spent a lot of time on Raw and how bad it is. I think SmackDown this week wasn't necessarily good stuff.
No, it wasn't. I mean...
So let's give it up to SmackDown now. Let's get them a little browbeating.
Yeah, so Quick Heat SmackDown edition?
I guess we can go.
Let's go.
All right, so here we go. Well, Joe, listen, I enjoyed Joe's
super hot fire promos.
It's funny when he's like wrestling in the ring. I'm just like, whatever.
Welcome aboard, baby.
It is what
I've been saying this forever. And that's why I'm excited for the Chamber, because he can just kill. And if he is doing a rest hold, Mustafa will be flipping off the top or something, so I won't have to watch it.
And of course, here's the biggest travesty we haven't talked about in the Heat this week. Another fucking team just gets added in. I know why, but this fucking team having this, by the way, this triple threat, we didn't really talk about it. We said they won. You hid the fucking thing under the bus. This whole thing sucks. I hate that fucking on Raw, we have 6 teams getting in for 3 spots. And then on SmackDown, it's like, well, we don't have enough here, so we're just going to name stuff.
They literally
make it up.
Well, here's the thing. There were 6 women in the Chamber.
Sure.
There were 4 other women on the SmackDown roster. One's the champion, Asuka, who's like on hiatus.
Needs something.
Charlotte and Becky are not going to be involved in this. And Lana has a bum fucking ankle.
I know.
So you'd have to call people from NXT, so they had no choice but to just put the teams in.
We have so many people that you could put. I agree with you. You should have had the NXT team.
I would have loved the Sky Pirates. Yeah.
Yes.
But I get also why they didn't, because like you have Carmella and Naomi on your roster. They originally, like, this Carmella and Naomi team was going to be the Asuka Naomi team they had been building for a while.
Sure. But
then they decided to put the title on Asuka, and that obviously changed things.
Sure. But here's the issue of the hodgepodgeness of it is because
they're going to get eliminated first. It's all good.
That's fine. But here's what I don't understand about the whole thing. You have other hodgepodge teams like, they had Dana Brooke and Natty. That's next week's problem. And then they had, I think, like Alicia Fox and Nikki Cross, which, again, shitty fucking team. And then I forget what the other...
The other was Mickey and Alexa. That was the only one that worked.
That was
the only reason Raw had to do it is because Raw actually had 4 women's tag teams.
Sure.
So here's my solution. Alexa and Mickey lost. They should have showed up on SmackDown and challenged these 2 in 1. So you have 6 actual tag teams.
Sure. But it doesn't make any sense, especially when you just throw people together. It's just... That's where I'm just like, fuck you, right? That just makes no goddamn sense. It's just on one side, it's so one-sided, obviously. That makes no sense. And then on the other side, it's just, here's 3 teams that just automatically get in. It's such a day and night difference for me where I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's so aggravating. It's super aggravating. Especially where, here's the other thing too. Again, this is for me, nostalgia, but like, the Pirates would have been a great fucking addition to the Elimination Chamber. And you could have tied into the fact that the only WWF women's tag team champions were, as we talked about at the Royal Rumble, the Jumping Bomb Angels. You can draw parallels between those two and how fantastic both sets of women are and have them in the match. That would have been a nice little tie-in. Would have been something to give a little bit of history back to it. That would have been awesome.
I think I think that would work against your argument because I don't think they want to acknowledge that they had.
Sure, I understand.
Because these are the first ever.
Sure,
like the first ever Cruiserweight champion was TJ Perkins.
Yeah, I know. But it's just like, here's the thing. It makes me so mad that they're not even recognizing their own history now. It's not. Forget about Mid-South. Forget about WCW or ECW or whatever else you want to not pay attention to. Any other great promotion. They're forgetting their own lineage at this point.
They don't give a fuck.
It's just like, what are we doing? I get for certain circumstances you have to, leave out the Benoits and the CM Punks and stuff. Whatever. But your own tag titles, you've had them. It's okay. You don't just sit there and go, well, this is the first time ever. It's like, come on, man. You have a general tie-in. That would be great. That would be fucking phenomenal. And added thing that makes me very upset, they had Ronda Rousey, which, again, it's not that big of a deal. Ronda Rousey beats Riot Squad, who's in the chamber. So you just show, is Ronda Rousey going to be at the Elimination Chamber? You're already beating up the women's tag, and I know why you did it. It's no big deal, but for me, it's a slight big deal.
I liked it because Ronda hasn't looked like a badass in a while. This was at least now she's fucking pissed. She's going to rip fucking both their arms off. I was okay with it. I'm glad that Ruby didn't go in there because I think that would have been a problem, but I actually was fine with her just annihilating Liv. Because it was funny because Liv got to play her game where she's running away. She's her thing where she's all cute and bubbly. And then Sarah Logan comes and picks her up and then gets Sarah Logan to
I love how it's a verb.
But I was okay with that. I understand what you're saying, but they're not winning the tag titles. The Riot Squad.
I know that, but you can still make them. They're the only, to me, besides the Boston Hug connection, they're the only real tag team.
Mandy and Sonya have been a team way longer than the fucking Riot Squad. Okay. The Iconics are the realest team in this chamber. Room. They've been teaming for 14 fucking years.
Oh, that's not a narrative. They haven't been a team for 14 fucking years. No, they have not.
That's what they said. That's what they told me in the fictional universe. So that's what I have to believe because that's what the story says.
Let me unplug you from there and use your fucking cortex for a moment. Yeah, okay.
Nope. Virtual reality, bitch.
Welcome to the virtual reality. Welcome to the utopia. Anyway, it just makes me upset.
What else
this whole
you
thing
got?
Makes me upset.
SmackDown.
Okay, well, we didn't talk about Jeff Hardy and Daniel Bryan for good reason, so that happened.
Don't care.
I got to tell you, Jeff Hardy wrestles like a man who does not want to bump, who does not want to do anything. He's like an early 90s wrestler who gets... And I'm saying not when he actually was in the 90s. I'm talking about previously. He's like the old guy that told him not to do that flippy shit. He's wrestling like that, don't want to bump, don't want to do anything. And it's very apparent when I'm watching it. I'm just like, why is this guy here? He's already got all the accolades. Get him off my TV.
You know what also bothered me was his backstage promo where he's wearing that goofy looking fucking makeup and he's trying to cut a serious promo about the prestige of the WWE Championship. I'm like, dude, you literally look like a fucking clown and you're trying to tell me that you're insulted by Daniel Bryan ruining the prestige of the championship. It's like, look at you. You literally look like a fucking joke.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take you serious with that makeup. I know it was your thing, your callback to TNA and whatever, but you don't look creepy. You look like a fucking loser. I can't take you seriously with that. Sorry.
Okay.
That's all.
And then, of course, we had the schmaz at the end, which, again, not necessarily a bad thing.
Everyone's going to get their shit in.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's AJ Styles, which to me was I thought should have been the exclamation point, and I think that was the way it was designed. But when he came out, I went, oh, yeah.
AJ Styles is a semicolon of the WWE right now. He's not an exclamation, but just a semicolon. It leaves it undefined and not done. He's just not getting it done for me.
So you don't want any of it?
Perhaps, not right now. I want a more entertaining, better AJ Styles. He's so
treading water,
fucking boring right now. It sucks because he's so fucking good.
Yep, I'm sure he feels it. He has to feel it.
We're gonna talk about this. I think gonna finish because I'm kind of intrigued by this international superstar shakeup. But for the love of God, can we get AJ Styles to Raw? Just something different for him. I know this is the house he built, but the fucking house, it's rented out to everyone else now, AJ. You're in the fucking basement. You don't even have a kitchenette down there. You're just down there starving, so.
Sometimes it's easier to sell the house.
Yeah. Or just move. Yeah, so move.
That's how you sell a house,
Yeah,
Josh.
Not necessarily. You can still own it and move. You could have two houses.
Multiple houses.
What else you got for SmackDown quickly? I'm going really slowly.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else on SmackDown that I can really even bother.
I think we covered everything.
All right, so here we go. Raw, real quick. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so clearly we talked about the Four Corners tag match. Not necessarily so great.
It was fine.
It was whatever it is.
I thought it was entertaining because it was... They showcased the Heavy Boys and Revival got
Heavy Boys. Now, you can't even get the correction there?
The Heavy Boys.
No, Heavy Machinery.
I know.
Stakes and weights, baby.
I like to call them the Heavy Boys. That's the other thing that bothers me about them is literally when I was watching this match, I was eating a fucking shitty salad and they kept saying the word steak and I was like, God, I would kill for a steak right now. I almost drove to Floramos.
That sounds expensive.
Floramos is so good. It's not that it's very affordable. It's the best steak tips you'll ever have.
New sponsor of the Jobberknocker.
I
Great,
wish.
wonderful.
Oh my God.
Then, of course, backstage we have, which I thought was an okay promo, which was Ryder and Hawkins say we're going to beat that loss together.
I'll have more of that in a moment.
Sure. Okay. Kurt Angle comes out and says he's going to retire, doesn't because, whatever. And then Drew comes out. They're probably going to have a retirement match, I assume, or he's going to have some type of WrestleMania match.
I don't know
why
where
not?
the fuck this shit is going.
Let's shoehorn that into WrestleMania. We've gotten to a point now where we're shoehorning in the Olympic gold medalist that we should be excited about. That's
Maybe he'll win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle.
Maybe that's a way to go out.
I mean, they let Matt Hardy win it last year. Could barely walk.
And, of course, Natty with her headphones talking to Dana disrespect. I don't know.
You can't put that in the heat. That was hilarious.
It was
I thought that
stupid.
was honestly hilarious.
It was stupid.
That was funny.
Stupid.
Because it's just like, I mean, I feel like everyone's, not to that degree, but in a situation where they're talking to someone, they don't realize it. I thought it was nice because we all knew it was happening. Dana didn't. And Dana's such a poor actress that I thought it worked perfectly.
You know what doesn't make sense? She yelled so loud and she pronounced her P that it fucking flicked Natty's hair.
You want to talk about enunciations? Dana Brooke enunciates every word.
But the thing is that it fucking
Enunciates. I can't talk today.
And it brushed her hair. You could see her hair move. And anybody in their right mind would go and turn and look. But Natty's sitting there in her fucking universe going, I love cats. I
was
love
going to say, she's used to
I
cats
love
like nipping at her hair. So.
It was. I didn't even recognize her. I
What
was
do you
like,
think
that's
she was
Natty.
listening to?
Probably a cat song. Maybe Kids Bop. I don't know. Something stupid. Kids Bop 5. No, that's what we call kittens. Whatever. I don't know. Stupid. Fucking morons. I don't know.
Are you excited for that match next week?
I'm ready to go to the bathroom on that one. And there's plenty of other stuff that this week is just like, oh boy, let's get excited for Elimination Chamber. But whatever.
Yeah, next week's the go home, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we have booked so far? We have the 2 chamber matches. We have
nothing for Brock Lesnar. Nothing for Daniel Bryan. That's true.
nothing for Asuka.
Nothing for Asuka. Nobody's ready for Asuka, apparently.
Nothing for Rousey yet?
Probably Ruby, I would imagine.
Maybe.
Because she's the only one not in. Unless she's in the Elimination Chamber. But
no,
again,
Lashley and Finn will probably be a match, but it's not booked. There's only 4. Oh yeah, I saw that's a tag match. The Usos and McMiz.
Yeah. No, that's a McMiz TV.
No. I mean at Elimination Chamber
okay.
is booked because there's 4 matches booked, and the 4th is actually cruiserweight. I think Murphy and Tozawa.
Which I haven't been watching 205, so I don't know.
I think Tozawa's been getting a push. So.
Meh.
But yeah, that's the thing, and that's happening. But I would assume we'll get IC. R-Truth wins the title. Was not on TV.
Again.
So they take the title off Rusev, and it's not on TV anymore. So they should have never done that.
I'm pretty sure that the U.S. title needs to go away.
I disagree.
Go away forever.
How is Michael Cole supposed to be like every single WWE Hall of Famer had a run with the U.S. title?
So does that mean R-Truth by proxy will be a WWE Hall of Famer? I don't know.
Oh, he definitely is going to be. He's going to be one of those 6th guy in the ballots in 10 years. You know he is. Absolutely. He's been there long enough. He has enough random ass accolades. They're going to
random ass accolades.
They put in so many. He's definitely getting in.
Okay.
Zack Ryder they'll probably put in the fucking Hall of Fame.
You
know what? We're going into the Hope. Glorious.
I need an iPad.
Because something I love this week, and this is why I thought there were some really nice pieces to Raw, is the Hawkins and Ryder backstage segment. Because, they had the loss last week. They've been actually building a story for these guys. These are they're not even mid-card. They're bottom card of the tag team. But it's perfect because obviously we know we have this Hawkins losing streak going on. Been clamoring to be on TV for 2 years on this program. They get it here and there, but now it's they finally reunited Hawkins and Ryder, which were an exciting young tag team. They were the youngest ever tag team champions, which they pointed out when they did it. And now here they are, 2 struggling veterans. I mean, Ryder didn't have a match on Raw in 2018 till literally the last Raw. And now all of a sudden we have a great natural story with these 2. They are literally the true losers, the true underdogs. And Zack Ryder committed himself to helping get Hawkins his first win. They're going to do it together. They don't need to wrestle every week. But this I thought was good because you have so many superstars that don't get used, but not everyone can have a match. It's just like Apollo Crews this week had multiple backstage segments. It just reminds you of his existence, which is good. But Hawkins and Ryder, I'm assuming, are going to keep losing and losing. But at some point, they're going to get their win. And how cool would it be is if Kurt Hawkins' first win was at WrestleMania for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships. When they faced the champions, the Revival, Somehow they become the number one contenders without winning a match. That's the match.
They can win a battle royal.
Something like that, yeah. And they get their moment at WrestleMania. We've seen Zack Ryder have a WrestleMania moment out of nowhere winning the IC title. I just think this could be a fun story they could build up. The crowd is going to be behind it because for some reason people still pop for Zack Ryder even though they can't spell his name right. And now they're making that a joke, which I think is perfect.
And he couldn't say it either in the promo.
It's worked perfectly because you already have Hawkins, who's the biggest loser in the company just because he hasn't won in like 8 years. And you pair him with Ryder, who now like they can't even get his name right. The story is just, there's so much potential with their story. So my main hope is that, A, they don't fuck it up. My other hope is that they continue to slow burn this and make this something that we really, really hope for. And we get that really cool moment because WrestleMania is supposed to be about those big breakthrough moments. And this one really has the potential for these two guys who have been with the company forever, off and on in Kurt Hawkins' case. These guys who just, like, they're the true grinders of the company. They're never heavily featured. They've had some titles here and there, but they're always at the bottom. They're in the same category as Heath Slater. They're always grinding. They're always entertaining. They deliver when they're out there. They do their jobs. It'd be cool to see them get their moment together and win those titles over the champions, the Revival, at WrestleMania. So hashtag JC's hopes come true. JC knows. I'm excited for the potential of Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. So face those facts. Adam, it's your turn.
It is my turn. My hope is different from that, obviously, because quite frankly, there's nothing else I can do. I can't do anything like that. Look, I'm going to say this much. And this is where everybody turns off. I'm more excited to see Mojo Rawley do something fun.
God, I was wondering why I didn't bring that up yet.
Look, the second week in a row, Mojo Rawley does something. Here's my hope, because I know I'm going to get booed out of the building anyway. Mojo Rawley, all I want is for Mojo Rawley to get a chance. A real chance, folks. A real
Been there, done that.
No, I'm talking about as a real heel. Don't get him his fucking Zubaz shit. Don't let him do that. Let him be dark. Let him be mysterious. They got to stop calling him Mojo. They got to give him something else. You want to talk about all these different name changes? Give him Dean. Or whatever. Give him whatever his real name is, Dean whatever. Or just give him something different. Take a difference on Mojo. Something. Anything. Because I'm watching that going, everything about that segment was fine. And then I'm like, Mojo. Does that really work? No. No, it doesn't. He needs to shed that name and get something else, because they clearly like him, because they're going to put 2 minutes of their time into Mojo Rawley. Mirror, mirror on the wall, will I get a job someday? No, probably not. But every time I see it, here's the thing. Literally in a thread, you and I and a bunch of other guys from the Jobber Knocker, I was like, I think I've got to give up on Mojo. Literally 2 weeks later, he's got promos again. It's just when I want to give up on this dream of Mojo Rawley being relevant, it's just, there it is. So my hope is that you drop the name, you give him something new. I think it's time to send him maybe back down to NXT, let him rework everything, do something. Because quite frankly, I hope they have something, because I think I'm getting to a point where I have to stop talking about this for good.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the worst wrestler of them all? Mojo Rawley.
That's not even true. That you can't even say that with a straight face.
I said it with a complete straight face.
That he is not the worst wrestler of all. Of all.
Yeah, he definitely
is.
is.
No, he's not.
Because the Great Khali doesn't try to wrestle anymore, so it's Mojo Rawley now.
No, there's plenty of people that are more terrible.
Titus O'Neil doesn't count.
Yes,
he's
he
an
is.
ambassador.
No, he's not.
And he's a better wrestler than Mojo Rawley.
That's not true. That's not true at all.
He knows how to properly slip.
Mojo Rawley has full control of his entire body. Titus O'Neil does not. I'm going to go through this entire roster.
No, we're not going to waste people's time doing that, because no one fucking cares. Can we move on to the comeback?
Yes, absolutely.
My comeback goes to the man who has 2 letters and a number. EC3. I was so happy because of this. I know I focused on the segment earlier, but for me, I've been so excited for EC3 knowing he was coming back, because I saw some of his work in TNA, and I thought it was masterful. This guy just completely changed. You talk about Mojo needing to change. This guy completely changed everything that he was in WWE and made himself a main event star that carried a company for, what was it, like 2 years he was on top? Did absolutely phenomenal work. He's a fantastic promo. He's improved so much in the ring. He's never going to be like the great workhorse of some of these other guys, but he doesn't have to be, because this guy oozes charisma. He has the look, and he knows it. He knows how to act it. He's in the top 1%, literally. And the reason why I love this so much is because I was so scared that, like, at NXT, EC3 was just kind of there, whatever, because they didn't have anything for him. But this week proved to me that WWE is like, you know what? We know the potential that EC3 has in this company. Potential top star. Don't know if he ever will, but he has that potential to, like, be a headliner for one of their brands, be a world champion at some point. And this segment proved to me that they do feel that way. And they're going to do it slowly, which I think is smart. And it made me happy. So EC3 gets my comeback because he's a fucking stud, and I hope we continue to see more of him.
My comeback this week goes to the BLT, the club. Cannot be more excited to see them back, to have the Good Brothers on there. Yeah, they had a big W. I'm just kidding. A big L, I guess, if you will. Big L as in LG, lost. But that's fine. Knock America, as you said, won. It is what it is. Whatever. Knock America, whatever.
Hey, man, we didn't even get an entrance this week, and then we lost. At least when the Revival doesn't get entrances, they win.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I agree. Here's my thing about the club.
This is a competitive match, and I've always been excited to see.
They're good wrestlers.
Yeah, they are.
They're a good team.
Yeah.
And WWE clearly just doesn't give a fuck about them. So when their contracts are up, I don't know why they stay there. Like, unless they really just want to be in the E. It's like, these guys prove they can be a top tag team elsewhere. There's plenty of other options and people that'll take them. It's like, if WWE doesn't care about them, I don't know why.
Because they didn't make them.
They're like your favorite team, and I am sad for you for it because they're talented. I like to make fun of you for it, but like, I don't get how when they have so many shitty tag teams, how these guys
aren't there.
And same with Sanity. Yeah. Like, I don't get how either of these teams don't get a shot.
Sanity hasn't done anything.
They lost in a dark match to Heavy Machinery before SmackDown.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough, considering the talent on that team. That's very rough.
So it'd be so simple just to flip one of those teams to Raw and they're at the top of the division.
I would love, here's a redeemable hope for me. I would love to see the women's tag team titles on one show and shift all the women that I want to be on that over on one show and maybe to Raw, because quite frankly, Raw gets to a point where you're like, fucking A, man. You know, it's bad. And then, of course, we can consolidate the men's tag team to just one fucking show. And then you have 2 sets of tag titles on each show. It's fine. You could have men's on one, women on the other. It's okay to do that. The
only problem with that is if when teams break up and stuff, it's like you gotta...
Yeah, but then you wait for the Superstar Shakeup and throw them wherever you want.
The only solution for the women's tag team titles is if you put all the women on one show.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they're going to do.
No, but you can also have a women's singles championship, and that's fine because SmackDown,
yeah, but then that division's tiny, and then it's just they're all going to... No, I get what you're saying, but I do like that there's only going to be one set of titles.
There's too many fucking belts.
Well, I agree. So I like that there's only one title. I don't mind the floating thing. I think it's mainly going to be focused on Raw. Because whoever wins, I think, is going to spend a lot more time on Raw. So get used to seeing Mandy on both shows. But yeah.
I think that's something that really bothers me when I'm looking at this going, the U.S. title's never used.
Well, here's the thing about you. There's always going to be things that bother you, so they can't make you happy.
No, they're not even aiming to make me happy. I know
they
that.
Shouldn't. God.
They listen to this podcast, and half the ideas they get out of these, between you and I, they go, those guys, they got the stuff. They know what they're talking about. So you know what? They end up using it anyway. So you know what? I'm yelling this out to the rooftops.
Don't use Road Dogg anymore.
Don't use Fat Durst anymore. That's what he looked like to me. Fat Fred Durst. That's what he was.
Oh, Lord.
For crying out loud. Rolling with your roly-poly goddamn gut. Get out of here. My baby tonight. Fucking A. All right. I think we are in the big finish. Which I cannot be more excited about with the McMiz TV.
TV, yeah.
That is appointment television for me.
I agree. What else is booked? Dana Brooke, Natalia.
Dana Brooke
next.
and Natalia.
Thank you. Next.
I don't even know if there was
I'm sure
else.
The main event of SmackDown is going to be a 6-man tag with the 6 chamber members.
Gross.
Raw's main event will probably be...
something Ronda Rousey related, I'm sure. I don't know.
Rondi Ruby.
Ronda Ruby?
Ronnie versus Rubby.
Scruples?
Ronnie versus Rubby.
Rubby. That was weird. Say that 5 times fast.
No thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to be a very lackluster week heading into Go Home. I'm very upset about it, personally, if you ask me.
Well, we'll see. They have a lot. They only have 4 matches booked so far, so they're gonna. I mean, they seem to be leaking those out over the weekend, anyways. It's just like the Iconics declared, and the other Carmella thing. They declared on the weekend. They didn't even do it on TV.
Fucking Glow, Fabulous, whatever the
Fabulous
fuck they
Glow.
are.
Is that what they are?
Fabulous Glow. Bullshit. I
can't let you disparage Carmella.
Bullshit.
Anymore.
I love both of them individually.
Yeah.
Together, I don't care. I don't care about potluck dinners. I don't care about that
Maybe
shit.
you should.
I don't. I've had a lot of potluck dinners in my life.
You
but they're not-
don't like variety.
I do like variety.
You just
What
want,
are you talking about variety?
You just want plain chicken fingers and fucking
Oh,
ketchup.
yeah. You come on this program and talk about how plain Jane I am. That's just my decision. I don't push it on you.
I know, but that's why I'm just saying that's why you don't like variety.
I like variety.
Clearly not.
I watch wrestling. There's much variety in wrestling.
Yeah, and you complain about most.
Egg on my face. All right. Anyway, I think that's enough
Do you
talking.
eat eggs? Do you not like those either?
I do like eggs.
Okay.
Scrambled eggs.
One of my friends doesn't like eggs. I'm just like, I didn't either, but then I grew up. So, as
All
a
right
kid,
then.
I was like worse than you. I literally ate nothing.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden, one day I woke up and I'm like, oh, I'll just start eating stuff again. I was like, oh, this stuff isn't bad.
That's a great story. Tell it again.
Yeah, I should. Oh, you want me to?
No. Anyway,
Okay.
let's socialize the podcast.
No, we're going to talk about the International Superstar Shakeup.
All right, fine.
Did you see
Fucking
this?
let's do it.
So first when I saw it, it was just like in Canada. So I'm like, oh, it just is international because they're doing it. But no, not only will Raw and SmackDown be involved, but apparently NXT, NXT UK, and maybe 205 Live. All the brands could have a shakeup, which is exciting because that means we'll finally maybe get Pete Dunne on the main show. But I'm curious to see how fun that could be.
Finn Balor to 205.
Not
or
happening.
NXT UK.
Not happening.
NXT UK Finn Balor. That would make appointment
No,
television.
the only person going to NXT UK is probably Jack Gallagher. Because he doesn't do anything on 205, does he?
You know what they're going to do? They're going to advertise it as an international superstar shakeup, but only care about the 3 brands. And then they're going to go, in a supplemental draft, 205 and NXT UK. Here's what they have.
Well, I think mainly it's going to be like NXT and NXT UK people flipping and then 205 Live involved. Because they're kind of already doing that with those 3 brands. We're seeing some stuff. But the exciting part will be like which of them get called up to Raw and SmackDown. But it'd be even more fun if like the bottom card of people in Raw and SmackDown got relegated to these other brands because A, it would be fun, and B, it would probably be good for them.
yeah.
Relegate the Ascension back to NXT. They'll probably dominate again because they were awesome at NXT.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen though.
Mastiff
Mainly
to
'cause,
Raw,
like,
baby.
you love
Give me Mastiff to Raw.
You fucking love Dave
I
Mastiff.
fucking love Dave Mastiff. That guy is a fucking brick shit house. I fucking love that guy. Oh my God. That guy was like if Vader didn't beat everybody fucking up. That guy is fantastic.
Oh, he's very smooth for a big
Oh,
guy.
I
Yeah.
love him. I love me some Mastiff. That's the only one on that card besides Pete Dunne and Walter. I'm just like, yeah. Give me that guy. Give me that guy. I'm pumped for it.
Way to just insult Tony Storm and Rhea Ripley.
I said guys.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Guys.
Didn't sound like you
Tony
meant
Storm
that.
and Leah Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
Leah, whatever.
Wow.
Ripley.
Disrespectful.
They're going
God.
big places anyway.
Yeah.
Probably to NXT and then, of course, maybe to SmackDown or Raw. That's all.
Hope so.
Calm your
The NXT UK Women's Division is fire.
fire.
I got Isla Dawn, who's awesome.
Clearly.
She's awesome.
Hand checks for Jesus over there as you're talking about her.
Hands
Thank
are
you.
up. Ginny's really good too, and she's
Okay.
not attractive, so you can't throw that one in my face, bitch.
You don't think she's attractive? All right.
No,
All right.
but she's.
High standards canoe.
She's. You know, I want to shout out our boy. Let's see if I can get his handle right. At the Real Deal B Cox.
I believe you're
He
correct.
writes up our NXT UK stuff,
Yes.
and honestly, a lot of stuff he writes, like I agree with 100%. I'm like, this is great. I love this guy. But he always hits it on the head with Ginny, where it's like, I really want to like her, but there's something missing still. There's a little bit of disconnect, but when she figures it out, she's gonna be good, like legit heel potential. But okay, we should probably stop talking about that stuff.
Yes.
I can talk about it all day because it's exciting.
It is exciting.
Because you know why? It's new and fresh.
Yeah. Much like what we do here on the program.
Yeah, we're always so fresh and so clean.
Now I'm going to have that song stuck in my head. Thanks, jerk. Anyway,
You're welcome.
I think we socialized most of the things.
Jobberknocker.com. That's the website where you can find all the links to the podcast: iTunes, SoundCloud, Podomatic, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean. Did I forget one?
Sure.
I went out of a different order this time.
That's fine.
But yeah, check out all the articles up there. There's a lot of good shit. The NXT and NXT UK coverage will be coming as always. We will have you leading up to Elimination Chamber. And yeah, it's a lot of fun stuff up there. My tag titles article, Joe's Dean Ambrose article are the most recent ones, but you put an article out a couple weeks ago, which we still haven't seen Lacey Evans integrated in, so maybe they'll listen to you there. Or Lars Sullivan, who's Lars Sullivan, just not around. Yeah, then we have Pro Wrestling Tees. Buy the shirts. They're awesome. Do that. There might be a sale going on.
No, we just passed one with the
Okay, there's not a sale going on, but you should buy them anyways.
TJ bought one, so shout out to our boy TJ.
Yeah, because TJ at TJ of the JK.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Should I try to read all the handles?
If you can try, it's up to you if you don't want to. You already gave Brandon a shout
Twitter,
out.
at Jobberknocker, at Nestlemania, at JC of the JK, at DQ of the JK, at Ray of the JK, at Billy D2411, at Joe Pollock 47, at The Real Deal B Cox, at TJ of the JK.
You got them all.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Facebook Jobberknocker, Instagram Jobberknocker. We are everywhere you want to be, not only on social media, not only on podcasting apps, but literally the planet. We are the planet's podcast of champions.
On that note, we're going to go recycle and help the planet. Thank you for listening to the Jobberknocker. We'll be back next week with more Jobberknockery.
And Mandy.